week I'm having several people come round, electricians, roofers, stuff like that, to get quotes, which undoubtedly are going to be very expensive quotes, but alas, such is buying an old house that you have to redo. So meanwhile I am unpacking, and I also really urgently need to repot a few things, like this one, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just potted too superficially. But I also need to repot a couple of, I got some sunflowers which were somewhere available for free. One's doing okay, one is not, so I urgently need to repot it. I'm also kind of hoping this will be a little bit of success. It's red basil, and then there's another plant similar to this one that my friends, when they were helping me move, asked, are you taking this one instead? It's like, it is not dead. It might be dying, but that's not the same. It's fine. I buried this one in a good sized pot, but it's very too shallow, so I always had to put it somewhere while it was resting against something, because otherwise it would just sway like hell. So just using my bare hands, because I have no idea where my gardening gloves are. I will tell you now, because you're just going to figure it out eventually anyway. I'm not much of a gardener. Oops, I think that was part of the roots, I think. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's already a little bit sturdier. It's a rather big pot for a very small little plant, but I know sunflowers grow very, very tall, so I want to make sure that it is stable enough. If it gets past 1 meter, I swear, even if this gets past 20 centimeters, I'll be surprised, to be honest. But we try. Just remembered I have 2 more rather sad plants. I'm just going to give them a second chance. In my apartment I hardly had any light, so I'm hoping in this house, where I do have plenty of light, even in the north garden, I hope they'll do okay. An accurate portrayal of my current gardening talents right here. Not the most traditional of harvesting from one's garden, but I know someone who will just love this. Morally, Bellatrix! while I'm getting quotes for the roof, solar panels, stuff like that, I also need to do some serious deep cleaning in this house. It's a very old house, yeah, and this house had been vacant for a year before I moved in. The cabinets, the kitchen cabinets they are somewhat mouldy. It's not very healthy for me or for any other pets. So I'm going to do good cleaning, good scrubbing. Bleach is not good for that. Just bleaches the mold that you see, but it doesn't get into the actual surface that it is on. So I bought 5 litres of hydrogen peroxide. I think that'll be enough. So I bought this. I find it very suspicious to buy this, even though I know I just bought it to kill mold. I watch too much true crime to know that I own this. It's just so feels icky. But so I'm going to do a couple of hours of good scrubbing of the cabinets, but I'm not going to do it like this, obviously. I'm just going to pop down to the shop. I have a tools store very nearby, which is very convenient, to get some safety goggles. I have gloves, but I'm also going to get a mask because also the ventilation in this house not ideal. I think I mentioned in the previous video, the wall, the mirrors, the windows on the original part of the house, they don't open, so ventilation is shit. So don't want to harm my eyes or skin or lungs. I'm going to make sure that all the animals are far away from where I am. I'm going to open all the windows that do open in the house to create some as much ventilation as possible. So yeah, I'm not going to bring you along to the store to film because I find that too awkward. So I'll just be back in a second. Just got back from the hardware store. Lovely, lovely guy working there, absolutely lovely. One of those, he's 2 years from retirement, so he knows a lot. He gave me good advice without feeling like he's, trying to upsell me stuff. I got safety goggles and I got a mask. Both are good, and gloves. Not quite my colour, but okay, fine. Both are good to work with both hydrogen peroxide and when dealing with asbestos. So, I mean, didn't go for the cheapest one, but they should do me just fine. And just as I wanted to get to cleaning, I thought, what am I actually supposed to pour this in, this container? Because it's a big 5-litre jug. I'm not going to tip it over every time to get some onto my sponge or my cloth, because that's just asking for spills. So I thought, oh, I have an old metal container I can use, and I just thought, I'm just going to quickly Google if I'm allowed to pour this on metal. No, hydrogen peroxide is highly corrosive. Best is certain plastics or glass. So I'm going to use an old container. This was just where my instant coffee came in, so I can reuse that. I'm going to make a mixture of 1 part hydrogen peroxide and 1 part water. I'm going to get a sponge. Just going to do a quick Google if a sponge will be fine and not dissolve. Put it on the surfaces everywhere, and then let that sit for half an hour before I wipe it all off. I switched to a different shirt because this is an old t-shirt from, I think, one of my siblings, which can get stained. Hydrogen peroxide does bleach if it gets on stuff. So I was wearing my stepdad's sweater. I do not want to get that stained or messed up. Everything I'm going to clean right now are just cabinets, kitchen cabinets, and on the inside. So if that bleaches or discolors or anything, I don't care. It's all on the inside, it's all ugly, and I'm going to one day rip the entire kitchen out and replace it anyway. So right now I'm just going to get cracking. Yeah. Deary me. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick break because I have someone coming round for a quote in half an hour. And I'm quite glad I got all these because I'm quite sure I did not manage to do this without spilling a single drop. Felt a couple on my legs. Next time I'm going to wear long trousers. So I'm just going to quickly hop in the shower to get all the peroxide off me, and also just to be somewhat presentable by the time the person comes round for the quote, and hopefully it's lovely his lovely lines from the safety gear will be gone by then. So yeah, but it's going okay. The amount of willpower it is taking me to not do a certain Star Wars impersonation. Oh. Okay, I have given all the cabinets so I've washed them down with diluted hydrogen peroxide. I've now given them another wipe down with a wet cloth to get rid of the hydrogen peroxide after I've let it set for at least half an hour. Oh, the water that came from that cloth was so dirty. I am going to take a break, have a coffee, maybe a little snack, and then if I have the energy, going to go over them again with a wet cloth just to be absolutely sure that there's no hydrogen peroxide left, because I put my pots and pans there, I put food stuff down there, dog treats, so I want to make absolutely sure that there aren't any leftovers there. And yeah, just wanted to make sure that it is clean. One thing I only just popped into my head as I had already poured my little cocktail to clean with. How am I going to get rid of this? Because if it's quite corrosive on metal, am I allowed to put it, just pour it down the drain? So I googled it. Don't take me as an expert because, good lord, I obviously am not. But Google says that it is fine to pour down the drain or down the toilet. So I just poured it down the toilet. That one mason jar will now be thoroughly rinsed and then placed in the garage. Because I have several of those. I do reuse them. I often use them as just a cup for water. This will now forever be designated to a certain spot in the garage for future uses of the hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to see if I can label it to make absolutely sure I don't use it for anything that should be safe. So, coffee and a biscuit. No!